Everyone, this is Emily with Canix's product team, and today we're going to go through a process of creating inventory for our beginning upload into Canix. This template should be available to you to be able to copy and enter any of the information that you have for your facilities. Next, we'll move on to items, which we're going to use for our packaged inventory. Items are used on packaged inventory at each step of your process, from raw materials initially taken from harvest or brought in from another facility, to work in progress and finished good products. So this is not just the finished product name that you see on the shelf at the dispensary, but something that you'll be naming your inventory to easily identify what you have on hand. Some examples of item names include the strain and the type of inventory that it is, or as you get to finished goods, maybe even including the brand and the weight of that particular product. As initial raw material is taken from a harvest, you might have something like Blue Dream bucked flour or Blue Dream biomass to determine that that's not yet trimmed or sorted. As you go through the trimming and sorting process, you'll have things like A's, B's, and C's or trim to determine those. And your finished goods might include something like your 1 gram or half-gram pre-rolls, or 1 gram or 3.5 gram jars. We'll go through some extracted products and gummies in just a second, but to focus on more of our flour products here, we'll move forward with adding our item type. The item type is a category that you'll be assigning to each of these items to determine how much flour you have on hand versus how much shake or trim, as well as determining flour count or pre-roll item types. The list that you have on hand here might be slightly different depending on your state, but as you select the item here, this will determine whether it's weight-based, volume-based, or count-based. That more general item type category can also be broken down optionally into a subtype, which is a more granular category. And this is custom to however you want to name this particular field. Oftentimes, people will enter the type of material like A's, B's, or C's so that they don't just have all flour on hand, but are able to determine how many A buds they have on hand across all of their strains. Others will enter the size of material like the 1 gram jar or a half-gram pre-roll, so they know how many of a particular size they've created or have on hand at a time. This also helps with sales to determine how much you've sold over time of particular sized products or particular premium products like A's versus B's. Each of these types also has a corresponding weight unit. So for count-based items, you'll be selecting each, and weight-based items, you'll be selecting any of your weight-based products here: grams, kilograms, milligrams, ounces, or pounds. If you do measure anything in volume, you also have those volume units available to you. The unit that you set here is not the unit that you have to use for every package. You can go ahead and use pounds or kilograms sometimes, but grams is going to be what is pre-filled as I've selected it here in all of my workflows that I use in Canix. For count-based items, I also need to specify how much each unit weighs or how much each cannabis was represented in that unit. For example, a 1 gram pre-roll took 1 gram of cannabis to create that pre-roll, so I would enter 1 gram to represent one each. My eighth jars take 3.5 grams of cannabis to represent that one each, so I'm going to be entering 3.5 grams here as my individual unit weight. Now, the actual cannabis that you use to pull into your packaged inventory to create this will differ, and you'll specify that when you actually create the packages. Moving on to some optional fields, you can optionally enter the strain for this particular product to see all inventory that you have over a course of Blue Dream or other strains. You'll also select an accounting inventory type: raw material, work in progress, or finished good. This is often used for the accounting team to determine what the value of inventory on hand is for each of these stages, but it's also helpful in the sales process to limit the search to only finished goods products available on sales orders. Optionally, you can add a brand here to determine what brand you want to apply to your packaged or finished good inventory. And you can add a SKU to your items, which will also appear on your if you use SKUs within your facility. There are a number of other fields available to you as well to add for additional reporting information or to assign on your labels, like ingredients, administration method, supply duration days, number of doses, serving size, or description. You can also add notes to your items, and this will be available to you in your items table to review at any point. Now let's go through a few examples of items for concentrate or edible type items. As we go through our process, we might either be purchasing bulk distillate or creating bulk distillate from our flour products, and we often differentiate that by the strain and call it bulk distillate here. The item type for bulk distillate is concentrate weight, and you can add a subtype of bulk distillate or something else that helps differentiate what type of concentrate this is from other types of concentrate. As I often weigh it in grams, I'll leave grams as my weight unit, and I don't need to enter an individual weight unit because it's not count based. As I move through to create my products for gummies, I'll have things like my bulk gummies differentiated by the type of weight that it is, 5 milligram or 10 milligram. Those would be given edible counts because I'm now counting my edibles in eaches. They're just not fully packaged yet in my 10 packs or other size packages. It also allows me to add the subtype with the weight and the type of item, like 5 milligram gummies, so I can differentiate that from other types of edibles or other size of edibles. As these are count based, I'll also need to specify the weight that's in these, whether I want to specify milligrams or grams as my particular individual weight unit. I'm specifying the amount of weight for one gummy each. As I go into the 10 pack of gummies, I'll specify the actual individual weight unit of those 10 packs, which would be 10 5 milligram gummies or 0.05 grams. Other things like vape carts that are turned from a distillate into a finished good product would be considered concentrate count. And a common subtype is often the size of vape that you have here, whether half gram or gram, to differentiate from other concentrate count items. The individual weight unit is the amount of cannabis to create that 1 gram vape, which in this case was 1 gram of distillate. As you go through these items, if you have any questions, please reach out to our team as these will be the basis of your packaged inventory. If you have any questions as you go through this, please talk to your implementation manager or our support team to help you walk through these a little bit more in depth and understand your concepts more fully.